welcome back. Now I'm going to be doing a part 2 of our Harwood show series hood because there's a few more things I had to do to it which I'm not a fan of. As I said in the other video, I've had more fitment luck out of a glass tech. Now out of the box we knew that this hood looks extremely great. Hands down, it's a great looking hood. Fitment, well, a little different story. There's a few things I had to trim. There's a few things I'm going to show you that I had to trim that I didn't really much care for trimming, that hadn't had to do with other hoods, that I had to do with this one. So let's get into it. We'll show you how it fits on the outside first, and we'll open the hood and I'll show you everything I had to do. Now something I had to do is trim that back a little bit on both sides because there's only just a little bit of meat here, and I didn't really want to start trimming this back and weaken this corner on both sides, so instead I trimmed this back. Now I had to cut and trim this latch, unfortunately, because it seemed to be hitting up inside the hood. Now also I got this adjusted all the way forward, and I still have to actually pull the handle and let the latch go back a little bit in order to put the hood down. Unfortunately, I had to cut the spring way off because the spring was actually keeping the hood from shutting. I think that may due to extra material under here. Maybe it's a little thicker here than what it would have been from the factory. So there was that. And I had to trim the whole length of this all the way down because it was rubbing here when the hood was shut, because I took off about 3/4 of an inch all the way down here. And it actually, I didn't cut the very ends off because right about here was actually just right, so I had to cut it even there to there because it actually started going out this way with the material, and it went like that all the way down, so I had to trim that back off so it's shut. And as I mentioned earlier, our air cleaner. Now unfortunately I do have my flat base, which I prefer, but still yet with a 2-inch filter and a regular top, I'm literally a 1/4 inch away from the air cleaner hitting up under here. Now that is unfortunate, but what we are doing is we're buying an offset air cleaner base that's going to move it forward a bit, and hopefully we can get a 3-inch under there and then make our cal induction box for this truck and see how that goes. Now another thing I had to do was I had to cut off my hood height adjustment pins back here. And part of that was because they honestly would not budge at all. I don't know if they're seized or what, but they weren't budging. So I went ahead and cut them off. Now that being said, this just made me a 1/16 under now, which ain't too bad. But what was happening was this extra fiberglass here was hitting on the adjuster pin, and it wasn't allowing this backside to shut. So whenever you shut it up here, it was trying to bow and kink right here in this area, which was not good. Now one other thing I'd like to note is that if you order this hood from Summit, Jegs, or Harwood themselves, they do recommend a 210 spring, one of their springs. Now I had the 210s, but they were really too stiff, it seemed. I'm not sure what the issue was. They recommended it. Luckily Summit fixed the issue. They're sending me, I think, their 200 series springs, supposed to be lighter, because what happened was with the springs on, it held the hood up fine, but all the way up here, as soon as I went to go pull on the hood, you could almost start hearing it crack, and the hood would not budge. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I don't know if the springs are wrong or they just recommended the wrong springs, but just be careful on that. If you use the 210 springs, just be real careful at first to make sure that it's going to shut without damaging your hood. Now, hopefully this information helped you out, and be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button if you're following along with this truck or want to follow along with it, because what we will be doing is once we get this finished, we're going to be taking a drag strip and we're going to see what it can do. We might take it on a cruise or two, and we might just go have a little bit of fun with it. So keep a lookout for that, and as always, thanks for watching.